Here we go.
Here we go live.
We'll do it live.
There we go. Bill O'Reilly. We'll do it live, right? So, oh man, we were just
So am I live on my channel too?
Yep, you are. I'm gonna go check that right now. So what we do is we get out our phones to go look just to make sure it actually worked.
Well, I'm streaming this on my phone. I need to like get my tablet maybe and like make sure it's working.
Here we go. If I go to your channel, Tony's Lawn Care, should pop right up here. Yeah, it says Tony's Lawn Care is live.
There we go.
Emily says it works too.
There it is.
Yeah.
So it's that little red.
Yeah.
Huh.
We'll wave to you. Hey.
Hey, Tony.
Hey.
Hope you're watching. I hope someone's watching. There we go. Hey, so we got one viewer from Tony's Lawn Care right now. The Turf Nerds channel, 0. That'll be a big fat 0 for quite the amount of time. Greg and I make that joke.
We did. Well, I don't know if who he counts for though. Cameron was on a second ago, wasn't he?
I don't know. So check. I mean, you've been on here, but look, like there's this weird comment.
There he is.
I'm ready to find out.
Yeah. So like, will all the comments like pop up like that?
Yeah. So I'll display them. I think you can. Can you see them too? I don't know how it is on your end.
I seen Cameron's one. That's the first one I seen is Cameron's one.
You can click that. Can you click that too?
It's gone now.
Okay. I have the admin controls on here. I should have. There we go.
That's okay.
We got someone on Facebook viewing. We'll sit here for like a little bit, get the people to pile in. Greg and I, Tony, were complaining about the rain today. I was telling Greg that they lied to us.
Well, I didn't get no rain today. It was 99, but it wasn't raining. So.
Oh wow. No, I had it was soaked this morning, and then I finally said, okay, I'm going to go out. And as I'm heading out, it says rain coming. And I'm going, oh, nice. And a couple of like somebody spit on my car a couple times when I drove by, and that was it. So yeah. So I was actually going to go trim some of my accounts because I figure if it's going to rain, I'll just go trim everything. And
it works.
And lo and behold, it stopped, and I was able to start mowing. So that was kind of nice.
Yeah,
Can I go grab my tablet real quick so I can try to help watch the comments too? So give me just 1 second.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's not popping up on yours?
Here we go. Tony's going to be back. We'll do a little commercial break.
What should we talk? We could talk about Ezra.
Greg always has those shirts that trip you out.
Hey, you like that shirt?
Oh, here we go. Ryan Sutherland with Metro Lawn Care's watching here right now. Oh, man.
Ryan.
Oh, the Metro boys. They're all working solo this week because their father-in-law's up on the PGA Tour right now. So he's taking a little golf trip, I think. We got Jeff's Lawn and Landscaping. How's it going, Jeff?
Jeff, thanks for joining us.
I think these are Tony's
Ogscaff. Is that Ogscaff?
Ogscaff 84. I don't know who that is.
Ogscaff. Thank you. Really?
Back to Cameron saying, Greg always has those shirts that trip you out.
Really?
So
you like that? You like that shirt there, Cameron? I saw this shirt. Actually, I was watching The Flash, the show The Flash, and one of the guys on the show had this shirt, and I thought that is the best shirt, one of the best shirts I've ever seen. And it's you can see the little thing there. You are here. So that's one of my favorite shirts I've ever had. It is a good shirt.
Good shirt.
I told my wife about it, and I was watching the show, and I said, "Look, come here, watch this. Look at this." And so she wound up buying it for me for Father's Day.
Shirts are a good gift for Father's Day.
Yeah,
I think. I think my Father's Day gift was the Rodecaster Pro 2. How's the tablet, Tony? Is it working?
It's working. I'm just like going on YouTube, like regular YouTube, and I can see on your channel.
Yeah, I should have gave you admin rights to this because I can display.
No, it's okay. I don't want
comments.
admin rights.
Oh, wait, here we go. Show comments on the stage. How's this work? There. How about this?
What? What are you doing?
There, it says, I don't know. I showed the comments on the stage. I'm not sure what that did. Oh, it pops up like a Twitch TV thing. Oh, no.
I don't see it in my live.
Look up at like on the screen there. I don't know. This is
you don't see stuff on your
Greenscapes
on your own screen.
Hey guys, do you see that where it says Greenscapes?
I see Greenscape, Ohio. Oh yeah, I do see that. There it is.
Yes.
Boy, that's
Yeah, I see.
tiny.
It's tiny though.
Hello, this is Greg.
I gotta turn that up, Greg. Here, that was a little quiet. Here, let's
No,
let's
I
try
was
that
good.
again.
Hello,
I
this
thought-
is Greg.
Oh,
It might be a little
then-
loud.
Oh, was it? How about mine?
Well,
Yeah.
get this, guys. Hannah, she was
That's
like
a little loud.
10 months pregnant. They sent her.
Was it? Oh, here we go. Turn that
Yeah,
down.
it was really loud.
Here, we just do some mixing here on the spot. Guys
Yeah.
will not watch ever again. Oh,
Well, here we go.
Look at that, Evan. You find the best sound bites.
oh, here we go.
Hog's
Tony's drop.
calf.
6, 7, 8 more long. We gonna do it up. We gonna do
Here we go. That's how I felt today on the Segway. Hey, the Segway actually worked, except the one time I busted my butt on it was tonight. Now you guys saw that video.
Yeah, it was awesome. Great job, Evan. That was great. Were you helping to go unload some groceries or something?
Well, my wife pulled in. Okay, it was one of her late days today, and I said I'm gonna pick the baby up and take him on the Segway. So I was like watching them not paying attention, and I caught part of her tire and then totally just launched right off of it. I felt like an idiot because I was trimming all the lawns today on the Segway, and I never beefed it. And then when I get home, when I'm not holding a string trimmer, trimmer, I beef it. So, but
You
Cameron
lost
Duncan got me on the
your
Segway.
sense of
Tony,
balance.
you could save some time on your $1 million properties there, Tony. Right? I mean, Tony, he can
Potentially, yeah.
he can get in his lawns early, Greg, because he's got that battery equipment. Why don't you tell us about that a little bit? Because that's actually kind of cool.
So shout out to Jeff's Lawn and Landscaping. He's watching too. All these other comments are on your channel.
Oh, really? I
Yeah. So that's
got
great.
2 on Tony's, 3 on Turf Nerds, and then at the Facebook page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, yeah, someone asked about that segue, but anyway, the neighborhood they let us in at 7 a.m. So I try to go in there and start trimming, with the battery trimmer. So that's what I do at first, and that's pretty cool. That works great. So like while other companies are still waiting around and they're at the gas station, 4 guys are getting paid sitting at the gas station. I'm out there getting a couple lawns trimmed up. You know what I'm saying? So.
Now, and those, I guess those battery powered trimmers. Did you say that you had a Milwaukee one? They're not loud. It's just like
No,
a
they're
little
not loud.
alien
They're
hum.
quiet.
It's like,
Yeah.
That's why you can start at 7, right?
Yeah.
Right. Correct.
Man,
Okay.
That's
All
kind of
right.
got to be nice. I mean, that could work on some of my properties. Is just getting my fat butt out of bed to start at 7. That Greg,
That is
you
hard.
know
That's
me,
hard for me too.
Never happens. I mean, I'll wake up at 6 and I'll end up doing a whole bunch of other stuff by the time I get out there. It's this year I've been averaging between 8 and 9. It's been far worse. But Tony, to your credit, I mean you show us in the industry of how to get your butt out of bed. I mean, Tony's podcast at Tony's Lawn Care Talk, he'll be up there early. He's like, hey, it's 6:50. I'm just rolling out. That's late. I'm like, man, that's impressive.
Yeah, I mean it's wet and stuff out there, but I don't know. Segue would be so quiet for Tony. Yeah, I mean it's wet and stuff for me, but my feet get a little wet in the first thing in the morning. I mean, I think it's even worse where y'all live, but we have that dew in the morning, but I don't know. I'm willing to deal with it. So
Have you ever tried my trick, blowing off the dew before you start?
Oh, this works.
I have not
Yeah.
tried
Done
that.
Yeah.
not
So
tried that.
what I'll do is if I pull up to a lawn and it's got a lot of dew on it, I'll grab the blower and blow off all the surface dew, and then I'll trim. And about the time I get back, most of that dew is settled, so I'm able to cut then. So it's
Yeah.
just it takes me 5 or 10 minutes to blow it off, but I can move along. I'm not cutting a wet lawn.
Yeah, and that's great. I'll have to try that out. Although I would, I'm not going to fire up a gas blower, that time in the morning.
You
So
see Tony's just firing up the mower though too. There in these commercial lots here, right?
Now, do you have an
You see it
electric
go.
blower?
I do, yeah. So that's what I
Yeah.
would use if I do that trick. But
Yeah.
thankfully, it's because our grass is only like maybe 2.5 inches to 3 max.
Oh wow, man.
It's dense. It's very dense, but it's short. So
Mhm.
we might have a little bit of clumping if it's really wet. I have to maybe blow it a little afterwards, but yeah, it's not the same thing as you guys. And I do rye seed during the winter on my property, so I do know what
Hmm.
that's like. Having that cool season tall grass. I love it. It's cool because that's the only time of year that I see stripes really is in my lawn. I mean, a little bit on the zoysia lawns, but
Oh man,
it's
You
not.
gotta do the experiment, Tony. The best striped lawn in Georgia during the winter, like that I would like to see. I'd come down there and watch that. I can take my multi-force down there with the trailer, and try to stripe on your grass, or probably not. Like I'm thinking,
Oh
there's
yeah,
not
yeah, you
much grass to
definitely could.
bend, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's it. It's cool. It's cool to experience that, and it's just a totally different grass, but a lot of the the way it is and the way you go about it and stuff, it's very similar. It's very similar because my dad's whole family is from upstate New York, so I have mowed my
Really?
grandpa's lawn and stuff, and so it's still same kind of way of how it is you go about it. Maybe it's a lower height, but a lot of things about it are very similar. It's not as much different, I think, as people say it is. If my opinion, But,
I mean, we're all used up here, Greg, to just mowing weekly. I mean, when we experienced a stretch here in Michigan where it's been dry, Greg, where we really haven't had a cut for weeks. It's been a while. It's been probably, well, we had a couple times in the last couple of years, but when Zach was working with me back in the day, my buddy who worked with me for 10 years, Tony, we had stretches where it's like a month where we barely had to whip anything. We were doing like 45 lawns in like 7 hours, which was
oh wow,
which was
that's nice.
impressive. But I mean, it sounded like today was hot and dry for you. I think Cameron with the over there in the lawn care life
Missouri.
in Missouri, he's he's been getting slammed. He sent me a video the other day. Cameron, didn't you say that you were like double cutting on 5? I'm like, that's with the deck all the way up, right?
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, and, I mean it's dry, but it was thick, as well, like very thick air. So our southern turf, it likes that. It likes that, hot and humid, thick. It likes it. Plus, everybody making sure the irrigation's all fired up. So, I mean, regardless of what the rain does, I'll kind of be mowing a lot of thick grass, till fall. It's just how it is, and that's good. Like weekly, no matter what.
See, now
Till
that's nice.
yeah, it's nice, but then sometimes, I think about, man, it would be nice to live up north or somewhere because literally I'm going to these yards every week, year round. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes
Oh,
like,
wow.
man, I would like to have a couple months where I'm not, pulling any weeds or doing any of this stuff. Lawn Commander, what's up, buddy? Said 92 in Western North Carolina. I bet y'all know
Never
Lawn
saw-
Commander. He's a cool guy.
You know,
I do not.
never.
He's got a big
Never heard that
beard.
name.
His name's Stacy. He's a great guy.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Oh.
We saw Oxcalf. What they say was 95 today for them, and 99 yesterday. So they had a slight reprieve.
Hey Tony,
but,
why don't you? Is Lawn Commander? Is he going to the expo? Why don't you tell the people about the prayer breakfast that we got coming down the pike?
Yeah. So, Lawn Commander, chime in if you are. He usually does. He's a cool guy, and he kind of has the Duck Dynasty kind of look about him, which is it's a great
Oh.
theme. And
Here we go.
here's something that was really cool because last year he lives in one of those areas in North Carolina where it got totally flooded. Like he sent me a picture of like
Oh.
Oh, wow.
his shop was like 4 foot underwater and stuff like that. And he still came, he still came to the expo even with all that going on. So just a cool
Wow.
guy, another fellow believer, just a great guy. I'm surprised you don't know him. He's been around the lawn community for a very, very long time. And so, yeah, but, oh yeah,
Oh,
prayer
try and
breakfast.
meet him up at the show.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. And I'm assuming he'll go this time. I mean, if he can make it even after that tornado hit his land, I'm sure he can, he can make it anyway. So anyway, we'll see if he chimes back in. But anyway, so prayer breakfast was really cool. I went last year and it was great. It was probably the best actual food that I had the whole time of the.
So what did
Sign
they
me up for
serve?
it.
What did they
Well,
serve?
Okay. So last year I was
Everybody
with,
talks about the food.
yeah. Well, let me think. So I was with Boneyard with Antonio with Boneyard Mo Trappin podcast. I was sitting with him, a few other guys who was there, Daniel, a few other guys, the gang. And so they
Damn
had,
right.
yeah, so they had eggs, of course. They had like this sausage. They had these like potatoes, like these seasoned, like grilled, like chunk, like potatoes. I think they had bacon too as well.
Ooh.
Yeah, they had bacon. just like like a whole breakfast, like buffet kind of line thing. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
Coffee, all that, apple juice, orange juice. But it's like a real breakfast. Like it was really, really good. Oh, they had biscuits like with the gravy. Oh yeah, that's good.
Biscuits and
Sausage
gravy.
gravy, whatever you call that.
Mm-hmm.
What else did they have? They had like some oatmeal. They had, just different stuff. Yeah. Biscuits
me
and gravy.
bacon
That's
and
all you need.
eggs.
That's what.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what Cameron says. Yeah.
Greg and I were
So-
talking about this. Cameron shared the prayer breakfast, Tony, on Facebook last year, and then we couldn't go. And then Tony, like you went, you got in contact with Craig Daniel, and then we've been trying to push it too. It's going to be an awesome event.
Yeah. So last year, something, guys, that's kind of big to remember is it was up the stairs last year, top part of the expo. But this year it's going to be at one of the hotels. It's like almost in the parking lot, but the Crown Plaza.
Uh-huh.
It's going to be there. So it's like walking distance. But I think they couldn't use that room for some reason. So had to find somewhere else to do it, and they wanted to keep it going. So they're having it, at this other place, and it'll be really cool. It was great. It was great. They had like a couple guys from the industry. They're kind of like opened up, had like, couple like shared their story, like kind of short version, you know what I mean? And then the main guy come in and he shared such an honest, like great story. All the guys, like it felt very uplifting. And even if someone, had never even been in a group like that before, they would feel totally welcome. Like it was an awesome experience. Like, I was totally glad I went, even though it's early and, we'll be out late talking with the boys and all that. But,
Things are going to be going down, right?
Yeah.
Remember,
still
do you know
gonna
who
be
the
worth it.
keynote speaker is?
Mike
Is
Singletary.
it Mike Singletary? I don't know who
Yep.
he is. I wouldn't know him if I seen him.
Yeah, Mike
But-
I
Singletary
wouldn't know him
is.
either, Tony. I was in the same boat.
and he wouldn't know you either.
Oh,
That's
probably
true.
Not.
So Mike Singletary, Hall of
He's
Fame
probably subscribed to my
linebacker.
channel, though, I bet.
I would not be surprised at all. So can't get my phone to type. We're going to equip. How did he do that
Long-
if he couldn't get his phone to type?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Long Commander is going to the expo. You know what? You know what our president has to say about that?
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
Oh yeah, there we go. Hey, I mean, any guy. Anyway, so we really tried, Tony. I mean, I tried with OPEI to push them to get the prayer breakfast on the schedule, but eventually they just stopped replying to me. So we just got.
Yeah, and I had the guy from the Bobcat Mowers. He was on my podcast talking about it, and he was
Ron?
great.
Ron.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Never talked
Yeah,
to him
he's a great
before,
guy.
but yeah, he was like one of the connection. I talked to the other guy too, the Craig Daniel, but then Craig Daniel said, "Oh well, now Ron, is going to be like the one that's like in charge of it, so you need to talk to him." So okay, so
Oh,
I
really?
did one podcast with Ron and one with Craig Daniel. I mean, they're both kind of part of it, and Jake
Mhm.
too as well.
Because Jake's with Wright. Is he just what is he? An equipment rep with Wright Mowers, basically?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, or like
Right.
mower rep. I think Mo
Something
Zuri.
manager.
Cameron would know more. But
Yeah.
I really liked your Shoney with as well. Wow, your show with Craig, Tony. Wow, I just totally just merged that all together. And so I had reached out to Craig just to get some info because Greg and I just wanted to push it, like, and that's all. Hey, wanted to potentially get on the sponsor list, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, they've raised enough money now. But Craig, yeah, they were kind of lost while they couldn't get it on the schedule. And I reached out to the people at OPEI. I said, hey, look, you guys could actually draw a bigger crowd to both the expo and then also the prayer breakfast, because I said there's a lot of guys in this industry who believe in Christ, and I would say at least 3/4 of them do. Maybe I'm wrong, but
Right.
they never really got back. I think it interfered with that mutt race or something. Like, wasn't that the reason?
Downtown they have the 5K race. They do that every year.
Yeah.
And that does start at 6:30 a.m. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's the perfect thing to do.
Early
Go ahead
enough,
and run
right?
5 miles before you walk 20
yeah.
miles, right?
5K is 3.1 miles.
Yeah, I know.
So,
I was just exaggerating it a
but,
little bit.
Yeah, but no, the Ron's going to be doing the closing prayer, and then I'm curious to hear of Mike Singletary. Hopefully, he's not going to try and tackle me. Don't like those Hall of Fame linebackers tackling you, so that can get uncomfortable. So, and then Eli Keene. I'm not familiar with Eli Keene.
I'm just
he's
coming for the food, honestly, and
But
they'll pay for it
shouldn't we-
later.
Shouldn't we
So-
go?
I will. I'll eat all the food there, and then Greg will have to do a show alone, or we get Tony to be the co-host of the Turf Nerds. And like, where's Evan? Oh, he's ran off somewhere.
He's
That's
preoccupied.
Yeah, he's in the bathroom,
that's
right?
why you have an enclosed trailer too, guys. Hey,
Oh, yeah.
You have to.
Yeah.
It's called
Enclosed
your mobile
trailer in a-
bathroom, too.
in a
Oh.
bucket.
Yeah, well, actually,
I've never actually tried that with
There's
bucket
a bucket,
trick.
guys. There's a bucket that has a toilet seat that you can put on it, and it's got a special bag that has like powder in it, and you can apparently go with that for a while.
So it's just like
It's-
those dog bags, like with the poop in it.
It's
You know where the
basically
people
like a-
pick up the dog poop. You know, it's just
No,
like
it's-
that.
Oh,
It's like a
oh, is that what they have on them? They have powders in them? I didn't know that.
it's like a thick trash bag that's meant, and there's powder in it meant to, you could like, liquid waste in it, and it would absorb in it better, but it works out great. And so I've done that in years past, man. I remember running the open trailers, guys. It's like, where do you pee? And we used to get creative. We used to get pretty creative on where we had to go.
So you had the bucket set up on the open trailer too.
Oh no, we would do that. I mean, sometimes we did like the whole like the two doors, open the two doors. Sometimes we'd like
Oh yeah.
we would like climb into bushes. I mean, I had to get creative. Oh, there's this thing I saw this this guy. He had it. It's like a pop up pee tent where you can like pop something up, and you just pop it up, then just pee on the grass, and then you can pull the tent down, and then no one can see you. Like, I am dead serious. Like it's an actual thing.
Mhm.
There was a guy. Yeah, I didn't know that, but wouldn't they be skeptical if you're just in the middle of their lawn and you have this small little phone booth
You could
set
say
up?
you're
like,
doing
what
like
you doing?
maintenance on like a trimmer head or
Sure.
like something like that, or say you got a call from your wife.
Starting your own little encampment.
Yeah, what if they hear like the stream like hitting the wall of the tent? You know what I mean? Like, who's turned up? Is there? I didn't know there was a
Spot in the
water spigot
grass.
out here.
Just a spot in the grass is all burned out from like the previous week. I think that would be for only like female dogs when they apparently when they go in the yard.
It's a
they can,
problem.
like, run
Yeah,
in the
it happens
grass.
on my
Yeah.
lawns. Yeah.
Can it? Yeah. Oh man.
I just saw a post on one of the groups on Facebook where a guy was saying, "What do I do? My guys want to pee when we're out working. They just go behind the door of my trailer and pee." And I'm thinking, and he says, "What am I supposed to tell him?" I said, "Well, tell him that's a misdemeanor." And I had a buddy of mine that did that once, and they happened to do it in front of a cop, or the cop turned the corner and saw him, and he got arrested.
Really?
Oh, yeah, really. And then the other thing is if you're trying to do that behind a trailer and there's a little kid around, you got even bigger problems. So you find your way, find some way to be able to go. I had somebody was it you and I, Evan, were talking one time where we said you cut open the an
yeah.
upside down milk jug, and you run a hose and drill a hole in the bottom of your trailer. So now you got
Yeah.
yourself a little urinal.
I talked
and,
about doing that. Just
That's a good
drill
idea.
Drill a hole
Yeah.
in the trailer, and then you get like some sort of hose and an upside down milk carton and or jug and
Yeah.
going
Yeah,
like
milk
that
jug.
too. I just haven't bothered to do that yet. I'm like, hey, how come every time that Evan or Tony or Greg leaves, there's a big puddle like under there. You recently, Tony, I want to do this. Tell the users, listeners, you insulated the inside of your enclosed camping kind of trailer walls. That's cool. I wanted to do that, Greg, because apparently it makes it cool too. Like it's not as like hot box in there.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like your house. Like it just kind of, would make it slower to transition to whatever it is, right? Just like it would do in your house. It doesn't mean that it's going to like keep it totally cool in there, but let's say like you have like all your gas equipment in there, and at 9 and 10 it was okay, but then at 12 and 1 it's crazy hot outside. Well, that that insulation will kind of keep that temperature arc kind of smooth and not just like straight up to boiling. So that's pretty cool. And
How did you do that? What did you do?
Well, so like so I got I took all the wood off the walls and everything. And then I got R5 value insulation board. So picture like a piece of plywood, but it's foam.
Mm-hmm. And then just put it on there.
Oh,
Oh, he froze up on us.
I think Tony froze.
We got 6, 7, 8 more long. We gonna
Apparently
do
he's
it
gonna
up.
go,
We gonna do.
Apparently he's out mowing right now, Greg.
Yeah, he must
Tony-
have got.
Oh man. Tony, come back. He was telling us because I kind of wanted to do that. Apparently
Yeah.
you could insulate our trailer walls, Greg, and that would make it warmer, and then also it would I guess, ward off some of the heat during the summer, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you could. The other thing you could do probably is get the it'd be a little bit more expensive, but that they make like a foam, or I'm sorry, like a foil thing that you can put on your garage doors,
There
and
he is.
you could use that. Welcome back.
Sorry about that. It cut. I don't know why it cut out. Like literally, my phone, it just like went back to the home screen. So I
Oh,
don't know
no.
how it got like. I never had that happen before. I've done this a lot of time with people in StreamYard. So guys out there, I just have my phone. I have the little Zoom PodTrack P4 plugged in. This whole mic setup is $75 with the headphones, with the wire, everything.
Wow.
It sounds
This is
good.
like a little. This is a little clamp that I got. You know, a little arm that I got on Amazon for 15-ish bucks or something. It's just clamped on this plastic table right here. I'm just in a random corner in my house because a lot of times I do them in the garage, but it's like 99 out there and like thick. I'm like, I'm gonna find some corner to set this up. But anyway, so yeah, so back to the trailer quickly. So I took all the wood off the walls, got this insulation board 3/4 inch. You have about 1 inch between the plywood and the outside, little metal on your
Mhm.
trailer.
Yeah.
And so I didn't want it to be too tight to where I was worried that maybe it would like push away from on the screws, like from the studs. So
Hmm.
Lowe's has a 3/4 inch one. It's a green. I have the whole little playlist on the shorts on my channel of like doing it and everything. But so I got the 3/4 inch, so you have, a little bit extra space. And so just like you would in a house, I had to like cut and like, make it really tight in between all the studs. And then, if you have any cracks, you can like tape it, duct tape it, whatever, all that.
Oh, wow.
And then I put all the walls back, like put all the wood back in the same spot it was. And then I did the same thing in the ceiling, which, the ceiling, it doesn't come with any wood up there. So then I bought wood and made the ceiling, sealed off. So it's just like the walls now on the ceiling, right?
Mhm.
And then I went ahead and ran 12-volt wire in 3 places up there before I put the plywood up, so that then I could have little LED lights that I got from Amazon screwed on that plywood in 3 places on there, because I knew I was going to have a 12-volt battery up front, like a deep cycle battery, lithium battery, which also powers my battery equipment. And so I ran the wire inside there, so you can't see it or anything. It's all
Mhm.
behind, in the wood, and it comes down and in front, comes out right by the battery. And so I did that. So I got 3 lights up there that you can run, anytime, even if the truck is off or whatever.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that was something else I wanted. And then I also ran, while I had them off, see, the walls and the ceiling are going to meet now that you have a ceiling, right? So I ran, so the wires are already up there. They're just kind of behind your little trim, the wires for the lights on the back of the trailer. So I went
Mhm.
ahead and put 2 strobe lights on the outside
Oh,
of the trailer, drill
really?
holes and then mounted, and then ran the wires, one on each side all the way down up to the front as well. And then I like ripped down, maybe like a 4-inch little section of plywood to make like trim, if you will, and like hide all the wires, in the corners.
That's
And
neat.
then like where all the pieces like come together on the walls, it'll have this little tiny, like really thin little wood that they use for trim. Some of that on mine wasn't really, most of it was not reusable. So I took some same, maybe 3/8 inch, whatever was pretty cheap at Lowe's. It's 3/8 inch, I think, basically 1/4 inch plywood, a little thicker than that. But, and so I ripped down and like made my own trim, because I already had to do it on the top corners as well. Had to make trim where I put all the wood back because the old trim wasn't really very usable. And then also, while I had it off, right beside the door on the side, I got maybe like a 1 foot by 1 foot piece of plywood, a thicker piece of plywood that was maybe like almost an inch, and cut that out, insulation on bottom and top of it. But I cut that out, and then that way, because I wanted to put a RV, like a plug there,
For
so
the
you could
camera.
so you could plug in your plug in extension cord on the side of the trailer, like you'd plug in your RV, if that makes sense. A little weather, you pull off the little rubber plug on the outside, put your extension cord.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
And so
Really?
yeah, so I cut a 2-inch hole in the side of the trailer, but I put that piece of wood in there first, so that way when I have that weatherproof plug screwed to the trailer, it like bites the outside of the trailer is sandwiched, on that little square piece of wood to the inside so that it's tight, so because, right now, your trailer doesn't really have a good foundation in between the studs to like hold a plug like that.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
while
yeah.
I had all the walls off and stuff, I put a little piece of wood in there, boom, made that, drilled the hole from the inside, a 2-inch. I got a kit from Harbor Freight where you can like, make a big hole, with your drill, with my walkie drill, by the way.
There we go. Shout out to Mark. Which
Yeah, it's
which drill is it?
I mean, I have a brushless one. It's not just one it's the brushless one, comes with impact driver. It's not very expensive, a couple $100. You can get the whole kit, couple batteries and stuff to.
I have the M18, best drill ever.
Yeah, it's an
You can-
M18. Yeah, it is.
I've stripped some multi-force bolts with it. Don't ask.
Well,
Anyways,
I think you have the high torque. Do you have the high torque impact? Because that
I think I do. I'll have to
is it
send
pretty.
you a picture of
Is-
it tomorrow.
Is it pretty
Yeah.
big?
Yeah, that's the one he used to put his spark plug back in.
I did. Okay, that is true. For some stupid reason, guys. I mean, I apparently screwed in a spark plug with the Milwaukee M18. And I busted it. Yeah, but I also broke a spark plug by dropping it. So like I dropped one like a foot off the ground and it broke. There's plastic on it. So, but the Milwaukee M18 Impact, Tony, that's one of the best investments I have ever invested in. Except you gotta be careful because it's too bulky. Like I kind of want like the smaller one. Like that.
Yes.
There's
yeah.
a smaller impact that you have, correct?
Yeah, I have so they have the one that like comes with a drill, you know what I mean? It's made for just drilling like maybe lag bolts into a swing set or something like that. Or a fence post or something. That's kind of like a really low end, like light duty.
duty.
It's just it's for driving stuff into wood or whatever. That's an impact driver, that's not an impact wrench. And then they have what they call a mid torque, which would be like 650 foot-pounds, which is probably double or triple what the little one is that comes with your drill. It's double, triple that, so it's plenty. It'll still take off car lugs, and all that stuff. And even more than that. And then if you get the high torque one, which is maybe the one you have, it goes all the way up to like 1,400 foot-pounds. And
Take
so
off like semi-truck tires
Yes.
with tires with that.
Yeah. So they have them like all different. And then even though they have the multiple levels, they keep changing, just like everything in life. When the new generation comes out, like the high torque one that's for sale right now is a little bit smaller than yours with even more power. You know what I'm saying? They keep kind of changing them around.
Oh,
But
really?
something
wow.
something I want to try is they now have one, I believe it's 550 foot-pounds, and it's only like 2.5 inches long, and it's the M12.
Really? Oh,
And it's the M12, like the little 12 battery. So that is like the strongest.
I have the M12 battery. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the
You have the-
strongest impact for the size it is. That's a kind of a new one that came out because it has so much power. Like it's mainly made like for mechanics and stuff.
You gotta send me that because I kind of want a smaller gun, gun when I'm taking off blades and bolts and stuff. But I have the Milwaukee M12 compressor, like little air compressor. Tony, that thing rocks. And then the Milwaukee,
yeah.
I think it's also the M12 grease gun. eBay, you can find them on eBay. That grease gun is awesome. But we talked about it before in an episode, Greg and I. Let's just say I don't know how to put grease into a gun. I like opened up both of the ends and then tried to put it
That
in.
is
I got
challenging.
Grease everywhere.
It's challenging.
I was
Yeah.
an idiot. Now I know it. Now I know how to do it the right way. But so you've kind of, Tony, you've made the switch from more of gas to kind of more battery. Now you're smart, like by doing that. Like the big why behind that, it's probably quieter, and you're able to get out earlier. And then in doing so, you can spend more time with the family, can't you?
Yeah, so like I still have gas big mowers, or at least for now, like the ones that all of us have, but but I do, that's all I use like for string trimmer, handheld blower. Now I still have to use, let's say we have a storm or leaf cleanup stuff, I have to use the big gas backpack blowers for now, just because I mean I don't even have a
man.
gas or a battery backpack blower yet or anything. I still want to experiment with some of those. But as far as handheld blower, like if it's a dry summer day, you need to blow off some grass clippings. Hey, that Milwaukee blower is great.
Oh yeah.
Even big driveways, even all that, like it's more powerful than a gas handheld blower, if that makes sense. And obviously it's nice because it's quiet. It's nice for me and nice for the client. I've had a couple clients come out and be like, man, what blower is that? Because that's amazing. Like, I've hated hearing this in my neighbor's yard, all these years. And I didn't even know something existed like what you have. And I was like, well, no, it's just at the time I just had a Ryobi, battery handheld blower, because I experiment with all different stuff, which Ryobi's made TTI Industries, Tektronix company. So they make Ryobi and Milwaukee. Milwaukee's kind of like high end.
really?
You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? They're almost like the same company, if that
It's like
makes
a
sense.
Toro Exmark. So Toro is a Exmark is a subsidiary of Toro, basically.
Right. So they're like, yeah, they're in the same family, if you will. There's a lot of differences with them, just the way they're made and the ergonomics of it. And I'm not saying Ryobi's bad. They make some good stuff. It's a different product than Milwaukee. I will tell you this. I think that the Ryobi 730 CFM, it's called the Ultra Quiet, Super Quiet, something like that.
Oh yeah.
That is my favorite handheld battery blower that I've ever used.
I'm gonna get one now, Greg. I'm gonna buy one
yeah.
for you, Greg, for Christmas.
It
Get,
has
get 2.
Yeah, it has like this big, like on the back of the blower, it has like this kind of cone looking thing. You can see the fan down in there, but it's probably like 8 inches of like almost like this funnel looking thing, and that is filled with foam around the edges, so that even the whistling noise that comes from the battery blowers is very quieted down via this tube filled with foam. Does that make sense?
Yeah. This is
and
fascinating, Tony.
So the new Milwaukee Gen 3, the one I have right now, handheld blower, has that technology. Again, they're same company, so it has that on the new one, but it's still not as quiet as that Ryobi one. And the Ryobi one's a little bit stronger, technically. But I mean, overall, the Milwaukee battery system and stuff, overall is kind of better. But I'm just saying, if you just think, just one tool, just the blower, like the Ryobi 40 volt, ultra quiet. That's not the name of it. It's something quiet. It's not. But anyway, I believe it's like 300 some bucks with multiple batteries and charger and stuff. So I don't know, like if you already have other Milwaukee tools, maybe not get the Ryobi one, but if it goes on sale or something, that's what I did. I bought it on eBay. I think the whole kit with 2 4 amp hour 40 volt batteries. I think I paid like $150 or something for it. Because Ryobi stuff is just like everywhere. Like it's just flooded. Like if you think of a battery
like
product,
poison ivy. It's like everywhere, right?
Yes, yeah. And so you got to remember like the anyway. So the Ryobi battery is a 40 volt. So like a 4 amp hour Ryobi battery is kind of like the same as an 8 amp hour Milwaukee battery, because it's 18 volt versus 40 volt, if that makes sense. Because when you double the voltage, even if it's like half the amount of amp hours, you basically would get the same runtime, if that makes sense. Because it's basically doubled. It's really like if Ryobi says 40 volt, but it's 40 volt max. It's really a double 18 volt. It's really 36 volt, if you really break down the cells or whatever. But anyway, all that to being said, I do think it is something that will be the future,
Ogscaf is asking how long it takes to charge that, fully charge it.
So the Ryobi one, I would say it's about 45 minutes. But the Milwaukee one I have, but the Milwaukee one, Milwaukee, they have the new supercharger, and so that's even the biggest 12 amp hour battery, which again, that's even way more than what would come with the Ryobi as far as runtime. It's like in the 20 something minutes range to get it to 90%. With the supercharger that has the little fans that blows up through it on the new like Forge battery. So overall, Milwaukee's, it's a better platform really, but I don't know though, that the balance, everything, like that Ryobi blower, it seems silly, but that thing is cool. It was cool. And it had inside of the foam, if you look right where like the battery clicked on the top, but on the inside it had like these aluminum ribs or like cooling ribs, so that as it's sucking the air in, it has like a heat sink that's where the battery's connected in on the top. So it's like as the air is passing through, it's helping to like cool the battery terminals. Does that
Cooling
make sense?
itself. Yeah,
Yes.
that's interesting.
So-
fascinating.
Yeah, great
Yeah.
design.
Yeah. So all that was cool as well. But
Yeah.
and,
I do.
and see
We
that
had it. Go ahead.
I feel like, doing this. So after we finish doing all this with the camping, and then you have to like cut around, where the vents are on the front corner and the back.
Yeah.
But once you have this plug, it's awesome because you can have all the doors shut, no holes in the floor or anything, and you back it in when you're done for the day, park beside the garage, just run your extension cord out there, boom, and then whatever chargers you have plugged in inside the trailer, if you already have them plugged up, you're good. Everything's charging. And then I
made
put
an
it.
RV out of this, Tony. Like you
Yeah.
should get into like trailer mods. People on Facebook. I mean, Greg and I
Yeah.
are part of our local groups all the
Oh, heck,
time. Guys are always wrecking their trailers and stuff, or wanting to do upgrades. Like I put the shelving unit in my trailer, then the 2x10 pressure treated boards. But you've turned yours into a family camper like that.
Well,
that's pretty rad.
That's
I wanna
kinda
sleep in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's
We're coming
that's
over.
what. Well, that's what happened basically with this whole thing, is that I finished it. When we had all them crazy snow days and stuff here in Georgia, we did 2 different times. We had like 4 inches of snow.
Yeah.
So I was just out there working on the trailer, right? Inside, out in the driveway. So I finished it maybe February something. We took it camping in Florida in February, and then we've used it on a few other camping trips because I made a counter in the front. And then, obviously with that plug, you can plug in a heater or whatever. So we took on several camping trips. So the problem is since it was, and the trailer was brand spanking new, all that, clean, painted the insides
How
like
much you buy it for again?
I paid $3,000 for it, but then, but it's a 6x12. It's a single axle. And then, so we painted all the inside and we took it camping, but now, wife and kids, they want to use it for camping. So I've cut 0 lawns with this setup,
Man,
so
it's nice and new in there. Then it's
yeah,
not dirty and full of grass.
yeah, because
Now you know what you need.
right. So my
You need a
my
you need a
wife's-
milk jug and a hose,
yeah,
and
Put a bathroom and a shower in there.
Yeah.
Just forcibly turn it into an actual camper and RV. This next thing you know, just upgrade the axles, the leaf springs. Don't just buy it.
right.
That's really awesome though, that you've really gotten some use out of it for like going camping and
So-
it-
So I'm
yeah.
actually planning on buying another one, if I need for tax write-off by the end of the year, and then do the same thing again and actually use this one for work and use the other one for camping. And it's still could be a backup trailer, if you will, but my wife, her exact words are, I don't want to sleep in there if it smells like mower oil, right? I don't know what mower oil means, but
I come home and I smell like grass. It's a new cologne, right, Greg? Grass and 2-cycle oil and nice premium octane fuel.
well, mine
Yeah.
mine smells like 2-cycle oil and gas because I've been lazy, and when my I have 2 trimmers and then my edger, and excuse me, when I run one edger dry, or running out of gas, and then the other one I'll take as long as I can, and then what I'll do is I'm just lazy and I've got all my things hanging up, and then I'll just put the gas inside them while they're still hanging. That way I don't have to pull them off and pour them in. But a lot of times I'm not paying attention, and I've spilled gas all over in the bottom of my trailer because it's just overflowing.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah,
Wow.
but
I've done
I was
that.
I was pleased with the way that I'd figured that out. Hey, why should I? Because I was pulling them off and putting them on the in my truck bed and pouring it all in. I said, nah, I'm not doing that anymore. But I wind up wasting a lot of gas that way. So, but I noticed that Cameron did have a question on there earlier. So 2 questions associated with mowers is if you wanted an electric mower, which one would you buy right now? And then secondly is I don't think you would be buying one because you just bought a Bobcat. How you liking that?
Yeah, I mean the Bobcat, it's great for the price that it is. I got kind of the smallest one they have.
You got a rider or a stander?
Yes,
Was it on a
it's a
rider? Yeah.
rider.
Okay.
And I have I have other standard stuff too. So this is the ZT 2000,
2000. Okay.
and it's a 48-inch, and Kawasaki engine, all that stuff.
Mhm.
And it's been great. Most of my lawns I do mow right now with the little Hustler Surfer Pro. which is a tiny little stand-on mower. It's also 48 inches, but it's very, very lightweight, only 440 some pounds total weight.
Wow.
It's the lightest mower in the whole mowing industry, I think. Lighter than the little residential sit-down mowers, all that. It's super light. It looks weird almost. It looks like a little skeleton mower if you've seen them before. But it is awesome. All those days when it's raining every day, people's yards are wet, and I'm just driving that thing. Like you can almost run over your foot with it, and it's fine. You know what I mean? Like it's very, very lightweight. So, that comes in handy floating over all these people's wet lawns. So that's great. So the really, really high end lawns, they kind of you're kind of supposed to use a walk behind, like a, commercial, hydro thing. And I've done that for several times over my life, but any mower I can use where I'm not using one of those hydro walk behinds is a huge blessing. So that's where for me, I'll buy a residential mower, get the lightest one they have that's like a ride-on mower. Like this Bobcat, I paid $4,700 some bucks for it at the end of the year last year, brand new everything. It's a 48.
Oh,
but
48. Okay, wow.
So I'll run that for a couple of years, and then I'll sell it for half I pay for it, buy another one, and do the same thing again. And this little Hustler Surfer Pro, I have almost 600 hours on it, and it's been great. That's kind of my setup to avoid push mowing where I can, and
yeah, I didn't even push.
Right. Yeah. So avoid push mowing and avoid using hydro walk behind, Velke, all that where I can as well. So that's why this mower
that's nice.
I can do 90% of properties with this little Surfer Pro, and I'll be able to do a lot of it with the Bobcat too as well. But the Bobcat, that's going to be still almost double the weight as that. But on some of my little bit bigger lawns and stuff, it is very helpful to kind of have, those are like my two mowers that I use. Because I do, ones that are bigger can handle the Bobcat mower, because the one downside with the Surfer Pro, the biggest downside, is because it has very small hydros, it is slow, like the ground speed, slow.
Oh no. Does it
but
take forever to cut then?
No, it doesn't, because it's still way faster than using walk behind. It's a little stand-on mower, so you're able to get in around, and I mean it's not bad. I mean it's
nicely.
it's not like lawn tractor slow, but it's slow compared to my EFI 52 stand-on mower that flies, like the ones you guys had. Yes, it's slow compared to that, but it can do a lot of properties that I would never be able to do with my fully commercial big EFI 1,500 pound mower.
Oh yeah.
90% of the companies in these neighborhoods, they have crews, and they just all use the hydro walk behind, whether it be the Turf Tracer or the John Deere one, or whatever, the Skag one. Like that's what you see 95% of the time. So I'm able to explain to customers like, hey, I'm not using walk behind, but it's me, owner operator, so I'm not going to tear up stuff. And hey, look at this mower. This mower is lighter than a Turf Tracer. Here's the weight specs. Like
super light.
Yeah,
you lift it with your pinky.
Right. So that's what I run, and then battery shrink trimmer blower. And then in the winter though, because all these houses, the trees are protected around the lake. They're like guarded by the whatever governing body, however you want to call that. It's called Georgia Power here. And so we have a lot of trees, a lot of mature big oaks, of course, all the pine straw, pine cones, all that. So from October, and it never, we don't get down to 10 degrees here, so it doesn't like just drop all the leaves off at once. They kind of trickle off slow all the way from October till January. You know what I mean?
You can mulch everything up, never have to pick anything up. That's what Greg and I would do, just keep on mulching and mulching.
Yeah.
I mean, ours just kind of ours drop.
Right. So a lot of this, some of it I'm able to mulch in the grass, but again, this is very dense, kind of high quality turf. So a lot of it I have to blow off of the turf, push it into a natural area, because half of these properties is like natural area, under these trees and pine straw and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I mulch it in those areas with the mower, off of the turf. And so I use that, use the Redmax 9000 every day, all day, last year, or whatever comparable blower kind of pops up, for now. That's how I run the leaf season.
The EBZ 9000's a beauty, isn't it? Oh,
I love it. I love it.
It's nice.
I know.
It's yeah. I had some
I know
problems
you.
with my first one, but yeah, now they gave me a new
Did you
one.
get
So
another one? Did you
yeah,
get another one?
yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
couldn't really figure out what was wrong. They said maybe like the computer in it needed an update or something. But I think what did it was I put that Opti 2.
Opti 2?
Yeah, and I think it kind of killed it. And then Red Max honored it. Shout out to Jack Easterly's the product manager at Red Max for it. I mean, I was emailing him, and they gave me another one from Weingarts and Sateca. That thing's nice. I've barely used it this year. I've just been using the 9010T because I'm trying to baby the EBZ 9000. Tony, didn't Husqvarna they came out with an equivalent EBZ 9000? Like it's their own version of it. I'm drawing a blank on it.
Yeah, it's called the 590 BTS.
Isn't that almost like a clone
Exact
of the EBZ
same,
9000?
It's the
same.
same thing, yeah. He was talking
Yeah.
about it when we were at Expo last year when we had him on the show.
Yeah, I was trying to remember what it was. Well, I had,
Yeah.
I actually think the orange one. I think it looks cool. I think it looks really cool.
Husqvarna's version?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're the same thing. It's a Chevy GMC kind of thing. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I mean, I like the red and black one, but they've been sharing the same blower for a long time. You know, like the 580 is the 8500 Red Max series. You know, and then they have the 580 Mark II, which is the 8550 Red Max, and they have the 580 Mark III, which is the 8560.
Yeah.
Yep. So they all just share the same. So it was a matter of time before they made the orange version of the 9000. But either way, whichever color you like, I do think that 9000. I've used every blower. You know, I've never done anything besides lawn care, just like you guys. But literally starting at 13 or 14, I was homeschooled, so I was almost full time even back then. So
that's great.
I mean, I ran the old Husqvarna 150 BTs they had way back in the day before Steel Floor Mix even came out. We had the old Echo gray. Echo used to be gray back in the day before they were orange. So like I've run a backpack blower like my whole life, and so I've used a lot of them. Used all the Steels. I mean, the Steels is a good blower.
Did it start for you?
Yeah, I mean, the Steel is a good product. I mean, there are pros and cons to them, just like anything. But the in general, it is a good system. The 4Mix, it is efficient. That is one thing that is good. Like, because of the way it's made with the 4 strokes, it still gets its lubrication through the oil in the gas, but it's like has ignition stroke and exhaust stroke. It's not like it's like a 4-stroke, but it doesn't have its own oil, if that makes sense. So they have the 4Mix, and actually Echo / Shindaiwa is making a blower that is literally almost the exact same technology. It's called the 7910. If you've seen that, it's kind of a weird looking blower. I have one. I have a 5810.
Oh, really?
And they actually just released it either last year or the year before at Expo, and that is basically a 4Mix blower, and people love that thing. It's so it's lighter than the 9010.
I want to get a 4Mix blower. Oh yeah.
Close to the same power. You should check it out. I think it's called the 7910. From Echo, and I think from what they say, I think that Shindaiwa, which is part of the Echo deal, but I think they had it technically. I think they had it even before Steel had it. That technology. And so once a year you got to use your feeler gauge and adjust the little valves on the top of the motor. It's very easy. There's like one screw you take off. I'm talking about even on the Steels or on this Echo. Every 300 to 500 hours, and it'll just start. If you notice, like if some people complain like, oh, I've had this Steel BR 700 and I've had it for 3 years and it feels like it's not powerful as it was. Well, that's because you never adjusted the valves, of the 4Mix system. And so, yes, it's not as powerful as it was. It literally takes 5 or 10 minutes to adjust the thing, put your little cover back on, and you do get a lot of benefits from that, like versus the traditional, just crazy wide open, 2-stroke as most of the ones we're familiar with. I mean, that 4Mix system, it does work. It is efficient. It's a little quieter, more of a lower tone sound. Anyway, so like the Steel BR 550s when they first came out, they had like the 340, the 450, 2-stroke units. Then I remember when the first 4-mix blower came out, I believe is the BR 550 they had back in the day, and that was a game changer. No one else had a blower that could produce power like that. But on a backpack blower, because this was before the Redmax 8500 and stuff came out, which that came out way back in like 06 or 07, 08, that technology. But before that, Steel came out with this 4-mix, and it was the 550, and then they released the 600, which was the same size, but it got even more power. And that is still like the number one blower. Like if you go right around your town, you'll see these BR 600 Steel blowers. Like that is like the number one blower in the industry. But and then they have their newest, biggest one, the 800. It is a great blower, and it's stronger than the 600, but it's still not as much power as the 9000. It is more comfortable to use. I've owned a couple of them, because Steel has an excellent anti-vibration system, and I feel like that is something that Redmax has fixed on the new 9000. It has a spring isolated system like the Echoes, like the Steel, because on the 8500 and stuff, they just had the bushings on there, and so at idle and stuff, you get a lot of vibration. Whereas,
yeah, but that's relaxing. It's kind of like a massage while you're doing that.
Yeah. Echo had that vibration plate that you could put on. I'm like, oh, this is just what I want. Thank you for a piece of plastic that I'll put.
I would just be
put
out
in
there
between
blowing and
something.
relaxed, just going, oh, wow, this is nice.
You
yeah,
get a nice,
and
get a nice
they're
massage.
great. They're a great blower, but I mean, I think so. But nowadays, now that the 9000 Redmax has the spring isolated anti-vibe system, and it has like the auto tune and stuff, like that is the king of blowers right now.
So we call that the Taylor Swift version, auto tuned.
Yeah.
The auto tune technology with that carburetor. It's pretty fascinating, isn't it? How
Hey,
it has.
Hey, while I'm thinking
everything
about
in.
it,
Yeah.
we were talking a little bit about, we mentioned the Opti 2 and the 9010 as you're not supposed to use Opti 2 in Echo 9010 blowers. It's not FD rated apparently, and Echo runs at too high an RPM. And so my dealer, I was talking to them one day, I just happened to ask them what they thought of the Opti 2, and they said it's nice oil, but you can't use it in your 9010. And Echoes even apparently said that as well. So if we got anybody on here.
I wonder if it's just, you think it's just like, is it leaner? You think it burns leaner?
I ran the Opti 2 in my 9010T, and it ran like junk for 2 months, and then I stopped using it, and it slowly, my 9010T is now better again, no problems. It was weird. It was like on full RPMs, and all of a sudden it would go, and then sometimes it would shut off, and it would take me like 5 minutes to have it turn over. I switched back just to regular Echo Red Armor or the Redmax 2-cycle, and now it runs fine. I like the Opti 2's concept. It's like you could use. I mean, it was just using less oil, and it was apparently. I mean, you could
less expensive and less oil.
Yeah, you can get,
but do you
get more
do
out
you
of it.
think it was leaner? Like, because if you're running less oil, is that?
Well, they said it
I don't
was they said it was not FD rated, and I'm not sure what FD rating is because I was asking my guys, and they said I don't know what FD is. F is in Frank, D is in David, but they said the Echo guys came in and told them you can't use Opti 2 in the 9010. It's just it runs too high in RPM. I guess that creates too much heat in there possibly, and it just doesn't cool it enough. It doesn't lubricate it enough. So you can use, like Evan was saying, the Redmax, Red Devil, whatever it is. You can use that in your 9010, but
Red Armor, yeah.
Red Armor. I'm sorry. So what I have is because I had bought a gallon of the Opti 2, and I found that out. So I had to go out and buy some Red Armor. So now I'm using the Red Armor in my Echo, and then I'm using the Opti 2 and all my other stuff. So, and then Cameron even mentioned earlier that make sure you're using premium gas in those as well. So sometimes people probably weren't.
Now.
Yeah, they weren't running premium possibly as well.
I buy from my local steel dealer. I buy like it's I think it's 8 6-packs of the 2.5 gallons, around like $100, big old box, like a 2 foot by, big, like a case. And that's been good. I buy like kind of the mid, it's not the full synthetic, it's the orange one. But it's a synthetic blend, and had great luck with that. And it's cheaper than the Red Armor and stuff like that. It's in the
Of
90
the
something.
Opti?
I've just been
No, I'm
using
talking
that
about
Red Max 2 cycle.
Yeah, I'm just talking about it's cheaper than what I could find of Red Armor, Echo, or Red Max or anything. That was the cheapest way I could find, to get an actual quality oil is the steel
Mhm.
oil, the HP. They have like a very low end one that's a black bottle, and then the mid grade, which is synthetic blend, which is what most of your Red Max and all those ones are like that. It's an orange bottle, and then the silver bottle is like their kind of top of the line stuff. And then they also have like, pre-mix or whatever, but that's what I've always done. I just buy the big cases because they give you a break, per, and I don't run gas, 2-cycle the whole year. So, I mean, one of those cases will last me, I burn up a lot of that during the winter time, running with that 9,000, that thing, it's
Mhm.
still a little thirsty, even though it's auto tune or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But it's worth it. I mean, it'll, if you want to move leaves fast, that is the tool, in my opinion. It's loud and I mean, all that stuff, but yeah, so that's how I've done it. I haven't never really experienced with I've never like experimented with the AMSOIL stuff. But I'm not against it, but I wonder, that would be a hard thing, for these, if I was making a blower, like, and then there's other company oils that are making oil. It's like, how do you really know what the lubrication setup is? Like you're saying, the FD proof or stuff like that would be hard, like on Echo's part, because like all these companies, they want to say, hey, we have an oil, but I'm like, whoa, 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 this is kind of the lifeline of the piece of equipment. Like any of these Husqvarna oils, Steel, Red Max, all these ones are going to be quality oil, but when you come with an aftermarket brand, it'd be kind of hard to know. I think maybe even like Oregon, like Rotary, some of these other ones make oil. Maybe that one's fine as well. But when I search around online buying a case of that, I don't know if it's just because of the shipping cost, whatever, still usually more than just buying a case of it from my steel dealer, which is the only dealer we basically have. And so that's
Hmm.
kind of what I do. But
Okay.
yeah, I run the no spill cans with the big blower. I feel like that one works really good. And there's some other cans like for filling up mowers and stuff that I feel like are better. But the no spill cans, and then but I'm really hoping to next year fully optimize that battery setup when I get another trailer. You know what I mean? Because right now we're using it for camping, so I'm still running my open trailer and there's batteries all in the back seat of my truck and stuff, which is fine. But if I have everything with all the little, you can get the Milwaukee little holders that you like put on your
A
garage
mount?
wall or workbench. Yeah, little
Mhm.
stealth mounts, and they click in there just like they do the tools. Like you could, on an enclosed trailer, you can really have a sweet setup. Have the chargers
Oh,
on the
yeah.
wall, batteries on the walls, and then you could have your deep cycle setup up front of charging it. So, and you get done trimming or whatever, you hang that thing. And remember, it's a battery trimmer, so it doesn't matter if it's upside down or whatever, but you could just hang it straight up and down, pop your battery back in the charger, jump on the mower, go out mow. I feel like with an enclosed trailer, and you guys run enclosed trailers too, but the open trailer, it's a little less great, for a battery kind of setup, but enclosed trailer would be really, really good. I mean, I still make it work. I mean, I run open trailer the last 5 years, with the battery equipment, and it's okay. But I feel like I would love to work on building one of these setups before the end of the year, like, because there's a place down here, you got to kind of search around for them, but these 6x12s, you can buy them brand new here in Georgia, South Georgia, for around that $3,000 mark, brand new. Why, nothing special, but ramp door in the back. And so I want to outdo another one. Everything else I put in there, the deep cycle battery, and then I built a shelf, like a floating shelf up in the front, like a lot of people do. And then I have the switch integrated into that shelf, so it's just on the face of the shelf. So you just click that switch and the lights turn on inside the trailer.
That's
Anyway,
neat.
yeah, so I wanted to set all that up. And so all that stuff is, all these Amazon parts and the insulation board and the couple sheets of plywood for the roof and everything, still only another 300 and some bucks, and buy the trailer, and then you're able to insulate the whole thing. I just feel like anyone that has an enclosed trailer doing that insulation, it's a pain in the butt, just like doing it takes a lot of hours, but it's very cheap to do it. Like any of you guys out there, I feel like it's a huge upgrade for your trailer. It doesn't take up, a centimeter of more space or anything. It's in the existing walls that you already have. It's just, they give you nothing in there and you're just putting in there. But I feel like most of the benefit, if you're going to insulate something, let's say guys out there just say, what do I think makes the most difference? I think, because there's people on YouTube that have done this too. Like if you just did the ceiling, I think the ceiling is the most difference, because that's where the sun, like bakes on right there.
It bakes it. Oh man, you could like fry an egg up there. Oh man, it was hot in there today. I'm like burning my hand on the ceiling of my enclosed trailer.
Yeah. So it was cool. I've never done that before, and I've had 4 or 5 enclosed trailers. I've had dual axle ones. I had a lot of them, over my years of my 14 years of my business, but I never tried the doing the insulation, all that. I don't know, over this winter, I was like, hey, what if I did that? And I started looking online, just like anything, you look on YouTube, sure enough, there's like thousands of people that already done that. But, so yeah, I mean, that was super, super cool. So I want to get another trailer and do the same setup, because even this trailer underneath the shelf, aka counter in the front, I'm going to put one of those AC units, where it has like a big, like a hose that runs out so the hot air blows out. And I'm going to cut a hole in the floor and have it like up in the V-nose under the counter. And so then you have AC in there, without having to, install and, add more braces and stuff, a huge roof vent or roof AC unit, like the camper ones. You could put this one, the V-nose, it's made for, you could like put it in a room or something and have the pipe like going out the window. And it could work like that. And they're probably $350-ish, on Amazon. So I want to put one of those in this trailer for camping. And then, and that's such a small area. I mean, it would freeze out that thing. Like it would work great. So that would be the next upgrade I want to do for it, for, kind of for the camping setup. And then when you go camping, it's nice. You have all that room, you put your bedding in there, throw your bikes in there, and just throw everything in the trailer. Boom, you go to the campground, and it's pretty cool. And then you just rent a normal RV camp spot, and you have power. You plug it in the side, and do what you do.
I think I want to do this now. Get an 8.5 by 20 trailer and do that. Got some people on here. Shout out to Aaron. We got the Greenscapes. Good. Jack Brenneman.
Yeah, like what Jack said there for us. Jack said, love the Turf Nerds. Absolutely amazing podcast and channel. Thanks, Jack. Appreciate that.
Hello, this is Greg.
That's awfully swell of you. So, by the way, Cameron asked earlier if you were going to buy a zero turn. I don't know if we never answered that question. What would you buy, and would you want to buy one? In California, you have to, but I don't live in California, so to California.
Oh yeah. Yeah, me as well. I mean, I'm a freedom-loving conservative. I own several firearms, several bunch of engines, Ram pickup trucks, all the deal. So I don't care about. I don't even know that the battery equipment is 100% more. Like they advertise as it's zero impact on the environment, but you still do have to dispose of the batteries and all that stuff. So I don't know that that's like, that's not the reason why I run it. You know what I'm saying? It's just because of the noise, customer benefit of noise, me benefit of noise. Because I like to listen to Turf Nerds podcast while I'm out trimming along. It's great, with the battery equipment.
I'm always
refreshing to hear you say that.
Always refreshing my feed for Tony's lawn care talk. Oh, man.
I remember the other day when I were doing the insurance one, and you said, Greg, you want to hold the guy's hand, and I was trimming with the battery trimmer, and then he was talking about how he like had the good moisturizer for his hands and stuff, and you were like, "Oh, that's a little farther than what we wanted."
a little too much information there for us.
I don't know where he was going with that. What I said.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, I told him really. I said, "Okay."
So he was pretty funny.
So back to the zero turn. So yes, I would entertain something like that. I'm not going to pay $50,000 for one right now. I'm not going to pay $30,000 for one right now. But just like everything in the market now, there's so many brands starting to come out with them. And remember, I run lightweight mowers, so they even they have a Skag Liberty Z, which is like their homeowner rider, but still heavy duty. It's a good unit. They have the EV version of that, and I saw demo units online and stuff in different states or whatever selling for $8,000, $7,900, $7,500, last year. And that's going to have a much bigger battery than, like the Eagle one that you see in front of Lowe's. It's the Skag ones has, a higher kilowatt battery that can still last for a long time. So I would consider something like that. And that is actually something that I want to look at the expo to say, what mower options are out there that are battery that are not $50,000, like whether it's stand on or
That's
ride
it.
on or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I know it's like, lower cost of ownership and all this stuff. I get all that, but
That'd be cool. I'm just not sold because if you've seen my lawns and the way things are set out, a 0-turn $50,000 battery mower wouldn't survive more than 2 days. That thing would I would literally, no pun intended, that battery would mow down.
well, I don't know. I mean, there's
I don't
like
know.
my friend.
Maybe I'm
I
wrong.
say they last 8 hours, maybe.
8 hours.
Well,
depends.
like even
Like-
that one Cameron has, I mean, he mows a lot of stuff with it, and it's been pretty good for him. The Toro one, the Grandstand Revolution and stuff. And then I have a friend Aaron that mows these big acreages, like in Kentucky. I mean, big lawns, 5-6 acres, and he runs it all
Really?
day, and it's
Huh.
never died on him. Like they gave
Man.
it to him as a demo. They're
Maybe I'm
I don't know,
wrong.
some kind of Optimus Z or something. Because these big mowers, they're able to, carry around a pretty large battery inside. So, it may be even easier for some people to switch over to like a battery stand-on mower or something. It may even be a little easier for some people to get used to that versus, swapping out a battery and stuff a lot on a battery string trimmer. You know what I mean? So,
Are they making standers in battery? I haven't seen 'em.
absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, I hadn't
The
seen
one,
'em.
the one that my friend Aaron is demoing, it's a stand-on mower. It's
Oh, okay.
and then and the one that Cameron has is a stand-on mower. It's a Grandstand Revolution.
Okay. All right.
And so I don't know. The thing for me though, like the mower is not the loudest thing, so of all the tools that I run throughout the day, the actual mower maybe gets on my nerves the least, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
the string trimmer screams in your ear, the hedge trimmer screams in your ear, the blower screams in your ear. So the mower, especially because I don't, mine, I have those little Kawasaki engines. They're like, 22, 23 horsepower. So they're not like super loud. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're pretty quiet. So, but again, if it was possible, to Cameron's question, because what if you were able, because that's kind of the pain of what I do, right? It's like you still have to put gas in the mower and all that stuff. Like if
Yeah.
you're able to build a total setup with no gas cans or anything in your setup, like that would be really cool. And then, you could set up like solar panels on the top of your enclosure. You have all that real estate, on the roof anyway. Especially in a state like mine where, I mean, the sun blasts, so you could
It
definitely
bakes.
get some, some watts, from that. So I'm not against the idea. I think but see, even on the gas side, I can't buy a 1,500 pound fully commercial because I don't want to use a walk behind, right? So even with a battery mower, I can't go buy, the Toro, sit down Z Master huge battery mower because that thing is just too heavy, just like the gas one is as well. So for me, I would have to find something on the lighter weight side. Maybe it's residential, whatever, but it still has to be kind of heavy duty. I don't want like a little wobbly deck, piece of junk. I want something that's decent. So that's actually what I'm gonna, I want to look at some of these things at the expo. I want to test some things, talk to some people. Like, what do you have in that, high-end residential kind of space that is a battery mower, and like, what are some pricing I can get these things and the battery and stuff. And guys out there, the pricing thing, you need to do some pricing homework, like by yourself later, not at the expo, because the people there, they never know. And if they tell you, usually you can buy it for much less than what they tell you it is, because they just tell you whatever it is, MSRP.
Yeah, they're
or
just
whatever.
telling you MSRP.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
s-
but while I'm looking at, while you're talking, I looked up Bobcat. They happen to have an electric 0-turn. It's a rider, 8 hours of runtime on it. Now, remember too, when we're cutting, we're not cutting for 8 hours. I mean,
Right.
I put on
I put
15 to
40
20
hours a
hours.
week on it.
Yeah, but mine, I'm putting like 15 to 20 hours a week on mine. So I'm not putting a ton of time on, but they're saying up to 8 hours of runtime. and 23 acres. But here's the thing: is what you don't want is
Well, define runtime. If you're cutting through thick grass, then it's if you're cutting through a lot of thick grass, and that's less than 8 hours of runtime.
yeah.
It's just like, I mean, you're just gonna. It's like
Oh
with the
yeah, it's going to
Segway.
bog it down, but it's 4 to 8 hours. But they said up to 8 hours. So,
Well,
but then
The
granted,
power on it's great, but I'm unless I got to demo one for a month to give an honest review, I just
Yeah.
can't. You should see where I would get what I would get is what probably Cameron has, the Toro Grandstand 52, but I get that in the 60, and I would mow my route and I blow on my mower, and I guarantee you, I mean, I had put 40 hours, a week just on the mower. That doesn't count the trimming. I'm
So-
kind of on the fence. I would love to try it. If they wow me and impress me, I'll give the battery a 0-turn mower a shot. But I just love hearing just the combustion of the engine and just the smell of exhaust and fumes.
I wonder.
That's
I
me.
wonder if you guys are the turf nerds. I wonder if Ron could have you demo one of those the Bobcat battery mower. That'd be cool.
we'll have to talk to him about that.
You
and
can
see.
you can
Here's the
comment there
downside.
for that, Greg. So
1,450 pounds, 1450. That's a big baby.
that's
a
kinda like
big mower.
Ferris. We demoed Tony I demoed the Ferris C3X, and then I actually did not like that Ferris riding mower, which is that steel riding mower. Not
Steel,
at all.
yeah. That was a
That thing was
beast.
awkward, and it was a beast. It was a monster, and it was awkward, and something was off with the deck, and the wheels, like the front
basically a
casters were
Ferris,
squeaking.
though.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah,
Ferris.
it's a Ferris. Yeah.
I didn't like it. You had no vantage point. You couldn't see anything, and my lower back was hurting, and I kept lowering the deck with my foot, and I would sometimes the mower would shut off because I didn't weigh enough. I was furious. I'm like, I
Oh,
don't
when
like
you'd
this
push
thing.
your foot on it, you'd
Yeah.
lift your body up.
I would
That's
I would
funny.
lift my and I have strong legs too. Like yeah. So
Oh.
man,
Well, you still have to
bothers
push.
me.
There was another question on there earlier. Jack had asked, "What's your favorite size mower?" I didn't want to skip that over. You know what? I'm really finding, because we've been playing with this Bobcat 52. I'm starting to really enjoy the size of that 52-inch versus my 61. I can get into a couple of little spots a little tighter. I've been pretty pleased with the 52. And Raleigh had sent me some information that you're going 1 mile an hour faster with your 52 versus 54 versus a 61. You could cut in about the same amount of time. If you were cutting like 5 acres, it'd still be about the same time frame to cut, even with the smaller deck.
Was it a mower calculator website that he
Yeah.
used to calculate that, or like something?
Yeah,
like
it was
that?
yeah, but
Really?
I mean, it's something to look at, but I'm starting to enjoy that 52-inch a little bit more. So
Well, and even us growing up, I feel like the 52 is like it's like a perfect size. It's not small. You're still cutting a lot of grass, but it's
Mhm.
not like, whoa, this deck is big. You know what I mean? Like how it starts to feel, on the on the 60
Yeah.
inchers.
Yep.
So it's kind of like for a lot of people that whatever brand you like, that 52 is kind of like, if you don't have too many gates and stuff, I mean, that 52 is like it's like a sweet spot kind of, I feel like, for people.
Yeah. Well, the guy where I get my stuff at Wheels and Blades over in Commerce, Michigan, they said they've been selling a lot more 52s lately. I think guys are starting to go, gee, this is a little easier to work with possibly. So,
Yeah,
but
maybe
the one
52
thing
with the 40 horsepower.
yeah, it does need
40
it
horsepower,
would-
yeah.
40
They can get it on
horsepower
there.
52.
Toro
Yeah.
should. They
Yeah.
underpowered the multi-force.
You wouldn't be. You know what that would be? That would probably be like driving. You remember when you'd see the cars modified when they'd have the big hood scoops on them? You always wondered
yeah.
how somebody was able to see over that hood scoop when they were driving. I wonder
The
if that
power
would
to
be
deck
like
ratio.
40-inch or 40
The 40
horsepower on your mower.
40 horsepower and a 52-inch deck. The power to deck ratio would be better. You would constantly maintain a blade tip speed, and you would be able to save on cutting because you would have to double cut less. You would be double cutting less. So yeah, I mean, that's where Toro missed the mark on the multi-force. I love everything about it. It's called a multi-force for a reason. They put a 26 and a half horsepower engine on it, and mine has almost 2,300 hours on it. And sitting there shaking my head, Tony. I'm not in the financial game to be financing other mowers right now, so I'm just going to ride the wave until the multi-force blows up, and then if it's well maintained. I've seen guys take their mowers all the way down to 5,000 hours. Okay, yeah, here we go. Cameron's making fun of when I misspoke. Evan has that 60 horsepower engine. Still haven't seen a video of it. Oh man, that shot me in the foot there. Man, if there's a 60 horsepower mower, that'd be a rocket ship.
I
It's
mean,
like
you could always replace that engine on your mower. Like, you know,
Yeah.
it's like 4 or 5 bolts, and then get a puller and pull that clutch off the bottom, and boom, your motor's off. It's not like
Mhm.
changing a car engine or something. I mean, you can do it in your garage, you know. So
Yeah.
I changed the
Um,
clutch on my multi-force once. It took like 90 minutes because the clutch gets stuck on there. You just gotta almost take like a pry
Yep.
bar or the hammer, just nail that thing off. I mean, Greg's clutch went in his Bobcat, and they were at a wrestling match with that for a while, weren't they?
Yeah, they 2 guys knowing what they were doing. It took them a couple hours. For whatever reason, mine just kind of it seemed to fuse itself to the frame.
Greg
Shane
Greg put a
Pipkin
weld
said he
on
liked.
it. It was the
Hello, this is Greg.
clutch where it just wouldn't come off, right? It just wanted to stay on your
Yeah.
mower.
But Shane
all right.
Pipkin also said something about a 72. He likes his 72-inch, I guess. So
yeah, shout out to Shane Pip. Can even comment a bunch of stuff on my channel.
yeah,
Saying
Yeah,
that
Shane,
saying
it's
the
been good comments there.
Formix is junk, and
Yeah, he was talking
lot of
about
stuff.
yeah.
something with still with
Didn't
junk
mean to
there.
skip you guys. Sometimes we just got carried away in
Right.
the
That
conversation. And
Motorcycle, that motorcycle oil. Buy a gallon of that and tell me what you think. Difference is very noticeable. You know, that's 2-cycle, right? That 1 gallon of the motorcycle.
Well, I think that's a brand. I think.
Oh, is it?
I think. Yeah.
You have to link that. I'm always looking for
I
new
think it's
oils
like
to
a
try.
high quality oil. It's like that.
Hmm.
Like he didn't spell that wrong. I think it's
Moto
okay.
MOTO cycle.
I'll Motul MOTUL. I'll look that up
Oh,
because the
okay.
2-cycle engines, they love premium gas and premium oil, and you can make those puppies last a long time. I mean, I think it's really just the oil. I mean, guys can run. Okay, they're string trimmers with the guards off. They're like, oh well, my clutch burned out. You have to run that like 3 feet long because I've heard other guys in the industry talk about. I run mine with the guard off, but I don't have it crazy long, and you can have that trimmer last like 7 years, hands down.
yes.
That's what I think.
Yeah, and my battery trimmers, they handle the long line very good.
Do
I
they?
may or may not run a guard on it at all.
Mary.
Aaron's
If-
right with this one. Toro has also miffed it hard on the tensioner pulley. Yep, I mean he had a multi-force. Aaron got rid of it, and now he's got the Bradley. It's their design because we talked to Jared from Toro, then also was it Jeff, and their tensioner like pulley with the belt like it slaps, and it's kind of weird.
Yep.
And then they had here's what Toro did. They updated that, but they didn't tell anyone they had updated on the tensioner pulley where you could actually change the direction so it's more tight. They didn't tell you that, and you had to go find it online. So I did that, and it helped out like a little bit, but it still slaps. All the new mowers, Greg, we were talking to Tyler over at Burdick Street when we were demoing all the mowers. All the new stand-ons, they have actually like 2 belts. For,
Yeah, that was which mower
yeah.
was that? The Skag or was
that was on
the,
this. That was on the Skag. I think the right mower also has that too, but it was on the Skag.
Yeah,
I think that
it
I think
does.
the Still as well. But they're coming out with
be-
2 belts. It
A
keeps them
lot
more
of
tight.
the right mowers, because if you noticed when you demo one, the deck like stays stationary, or however you say
Yes.
that, like it doesn't move. So if you talk to Ed Wright, like the design would be, because the engine does not have to move, they can have one belt that stays perfectly straight and no twisting and no undulations. So they can have one belt that should last forever, that just goes from the motor
Wow.
to the first part of the deck, and then belt number 2 that is underneath it, and the bottom, goes around the whole deck. So like,
Huh.
theoretically, but now you have 2 belts, you got to kind of maintain or whatever, but theoretically they should last forever like that, because nothing's really twisting, and the one belt kind of just, is adjusting tension just on the deck itself, but it's not twisting and going up at an angle to the motor, like most of our mowers that we have now.
That's really cool.
So yeah, so that is actually one of the reasons why Ed Wright, why they make the motor, because my dad has a John Deere Quick Track, which basically is a green Wright. He has a stand-on
Was it
mower,
really?
6, like it's, yeah. They change, so now how at the Expo John Deere they say, oh, we make a new one. I don't know what it's called, like whatever their new name for it. Now
Sure.
they're not made by Wright, but if you
No.
rewind, 5 years ago, they are basically Wright mowers with a few small changes. And my dad has a 52-inch one, and it's built that same way. It's cool. It's a heavy duty system. I personally don't know if I like that because, you know, I mean, you're moving that deck up and down, you're pulling the whole darn engine up and down. I don't know. I mean, it's okay. I think it does makes sense, but I don't know.
I don't like the
I feel
engine
like
moving up and down.
yeah, and I feel like it makes it a little harder feathering the deck over stuff and all that versus, you know, a different brand of stand-on mower. Like my dad has one, you know.
The deck on the Ferris Z3X, those guys just decided to put the deck lever on the left side. And I'm like, oh, I couldn't do that. Quick question for Tony, and then also Cameron made this comment though about so I have the Echo 2620T, but I sold my 3020. Does Shindaiwa have a heavier string trimmer than the T262, or is that their only string trimmer that they have? That one.
I think they do. Model? I think yes. I think there is a heavier model. Speaking of heavier model, so if I was today, if I think about what is like the baddest like string trimmer, I personally would look at the Husqvarna 535 LST. So the 525 is like their commercial one that a lot of people love. It's kind of lightweight, but it has a lot of power. It's kind of light like the Steel 94R and that kind of thing, but more power. But they have
$520. Wow. Huh.
Yes, because it shouldn't be that much. I think it's anyway. But
well, it's MSRP probably.
535 LST, correct?
Yes. Yeah. So that thing, that's going to be a big CC unit, but but you know, like I bet you that's pretty similar price to the Echo 3020 or whatever it is, because you know their biggest unit that's up in that price range. I'm betting too.
Yeah.
So as you can see, 12 pounds for something that puts out the power like a 3020 or whatever.
Really?
I think
I'm going to bookmark this page. Huh.
I think that is probably like one of the baddest, you know, gas trimmers in the industry, just because it still is pretty light, but it's bad to the bone. Like I don't know, the CCs, you see it on there. I don't know. It's like a 35 CC trimmer of sorts, has a big, like a heavy duty clutch on it. It's got an anti-vibration system, which the Echoes don't have. So like if I was going to buy, you know, let's say I was one of these channel, you know, or let's say I had a business where I mow a lot of tall grass, right? I think, you know, this 535 gas trimmer from Husqvarna, 535 LST, the one you're talking about. So that has the torque gearbox, the high torque gearbox with the big engine, all that, and it's still lightweight. So like, it's pretty awesome. If you do a little research on those, look at them on YouTube and stuff.
X-Torque engine. This is pretty fascinating. The reason why I asked kind of maybe about a heavier trimmer, because on the Segway, Cameron listened to this because I was trimming there on the Segway on my T262, but I actually switched back to the 2060T today because it was a smidge heavier, and it felt like I had gotten more control on the Segway with a heavier trimmer, like the counter, like the counterweight helped me be able to trim on the Segway better.
The guy that like he walks on the string and he's like holding the pole. You know what I mean? Yeah, kind of like that.
I mean, my T262 is doing okay, but my 20T. Sorry, I'm getting confused there on the numbers there on them, but that one, the 2620T, it's a smidge heavier. I think it's the exact same engine, but I was able to just trim and move better on the Segway, and I saved a whole bunch of time. Oh yeah. The Segway battery, Tony, I wanted to ask you, they say it's I just looked this up. It's a 240 watt battery. Takes like 4.5 hours to charge. But the thing is, though, it charges like you can't really like interchange and take them out. And I was talking to Cameron the other day about maybe getting like a portable charger for it. But I'm actually just going to be plugging it in if I have to people's houses while I'm mowing, because I have like stops where I'm mowing, and I just plug it right in there. And it at least get that battery, say like my first couple of stops, you know, 8 lawns took the battery down to like 60%. So 16 lawns got me all the way down to basically 20%. So I could have plugged it in, you know, mowed for an hour and got that battery, you know, back up to 50, because those type of batteries, they like to be charged like that. Like don't basically run all the way down to dead, correct?
Correct. Yeah. So like a lithium battery, just like your cell phone, it would rather, you know, it be at 50%, plug it back in. You know, it's way different. It's completely different than the old battery technology. So yeah. So if you got 50% left in that thing, if you got a chance to like charge it up, like while you're doing the mowing or whatever, that's a good idea. Yeah. In these neighborhoods, you know, several of the rich kids, you know, that are 5-6 years old that have these, and they just leave them outside and everything. These ones like you got,
I'm
this
really
brand
rich.
and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I have to like mow
You're
around and
fired.
stuff, but yeah. But I've never actually used one. I've wanted to get one of those. I've always thought about get for fun. You know those ones where it's just like 2 wheels and you kind of stand in between the 2 wheels.
It's a
And you go-
hoverboard. I thought
Yeah.
Cameron had one. Cameron is on the
Um,
fence. He's about to maybe get the Segway 9 about S2, and he was also talking about hoverboard. Cameron was also talking about trimming on a, was it, we call it a unicycle? There's something with like one wheel. He said it was beefier on like like would that be pretty funny
Right.
to see some guy trimming on a unicycle?
That
Was
would be interesting.
Was that what that was, Cameron? I don't know if he bounced, but he told me it was like a unicycle or something. Something he told me this morning. I'm like, Dad, I would just tumble down a hill with that. Yeah, so he has the hoverboard.
and all you guys out there listening, make sure you come hang out with us at the expo. We kind of been
Tony has
in
a
and
meetup.
out, weaving out of this. Yeah, Wednesday night we're gonna go to El Nepal's right at the edge of the parking lot of the expo. I got to call them and make sure they're good with that, which they have been every year, but I need to firm that up. And also stay subscribed. Make sure you're subscribed to the Turf Nerds podcast because they'll give updates about it. As well as you can type in Tony's Lawn Care on any podcast platform that you listen to. And then, Tuesday night, should we tell them about Phil's? There's probably not
Yes.
many people. We're not going to flood it by telling people. We should just tell them on here about that. In my opinion.
Yeah, tell him about Phil's. Yeah, go.
Okay, so I
Yeah.
believe I'm having to do. I don't have like notes in front of me. My phone is using as
Yeah,
this camera, so I think
I
it's
kinda
called
forgot it
like
too, so-
fire oven pizza, maybe brick oven. I think it's fire oven. I feel like it's fire oven. Anyway, if you subscribe to Turf Nerds podcast, Tony's Lawn Care podcast, we'll talk more about it. But he's already mentioned it several times, but I believe it's called like fire oven pizza. I think it's gonna be at 7 p.m. I need to, yeah, I believe that's what the deal is, and I'm excited about it. Man, I get so excited about the expo. Always want to do something weird, like shave my hair into like a mullet or something. Like when I go to the expo, I
My
feel like,
wife
man, you
gave me
need
a
to.
haircut the other day. I looked like I was balded out. Like she took it way down because it was kind of long.
I see
It
that.
looks
I'm like,
bad.
man.
Yeah, dude. Like I got fried there today. I mean, it didn't really. I mean, we had sun, but I got fried, and we should all do something fun. Like, you know what? I might just spray paint my head red for Toro colors at the expo, or just do something like off the walls.
Maybe are you gonna get a Turf Nerds tattoo? Maybe I'll get
Oh,
my
here we
belly
go.
button pierced. That's a good idea. I'll do that.
Well, I'll like get a fake turf nerds like tattoo like on my like scalp.
I was going
Yeah,
to
that's
try
a
and
good
get. I was going to see if I get my squirrel that I rescued today, and
Oh yeah, you
and
rescued a squirrel today, Greg. Didn't you?
name him Turfy. So I found a squirrel. I'm mowing the lawn. I see this movement in the grass, and I get off the mower and look, and it's a squirrel, and it looked like its back legs were paralyzed, and it's dragging itself across the grass. So I had to stop and go knock on the door of the homeowner, and we had to figure out how to get it in a box, and had to call someone, and they said, yeah, take it to the Howell Nature Center. And so they were going to take it over to the Howell Nature Center and see if they could what they could do for it. But I don't know. It's either they were going to have to put it to sleep, or it's an inbound squirrel for the rest of its life. But I was going to ask them if they could name it Turfy after the Turf Nerds.
Yeah, that is a good idea. Cameron said maybe we should all get mullets for the expo. I wonder if there's
We
enough
should get
time
some.
to even grow mullet by then.
Well, I could probably do it. I think I could. I don't know, but I was going to grow an afro. Why don't I just do an afro like I used to do back in the
I'm Donald
70s,
Trump,
80s?
and I approve this message.
Trump would definitely approve of your afro.
Or what about like shave everything but just have a mustache, like like rape stash,
Oh, there we go. And a nice.
We'll do it live.
Yep, we'll do it live there.
Live.
Have
Yeah.
the
Or
little-
shave one eyebrow. Could do shave one eyebrow.
Oh yeah,
That
we
would
could-
be making
That
a
is a
mark.
good
huh?
idea. Yeah.
yeah, I could come there just like with really long hair and everything else just shaved. They'd be like, "F you do look like you're about 10."
Yeah. So one other tip that I'll leave if they stayed this long in the episode, like, so if you trim with a battery string trimmer and you're
Yeah.
walking from one spot to the next, and so it's off, if you if you had a big bowl of chili the night before for dinner, make sure you're kind of on the throttle so the string's making noise before you let out a big fart, or else they will hear it. You know.
There you go. So can you use a speed head on those?
Yes,
Yeah.
Speed Feed 400.
Speed
Sure
feed.
enough.
Okay. All
I like
right.
the smaller Echo Speed Feed head. That's the
Those
400.
are
Great.
Yeah.
400.
Yeah.
You see, Tony's actually really good with all the models and stuff. Like I can tell you the functionality stuff, but Tony has every model number like memorized. Like he's like a walking parts catalog,
Yeah.
which is pretty rad.
Well, I try to remember that stuff even for my gas ones too, and everything, just so I know. I have all the part numbers memorized for the oil filters, the hydro filters, a lot of the stuff, just so I try to
I
know
don't-
that way.
Oh man.
That way, when I need to order another one, it makes it more
Here we go.
easy.
We'll
Yeah.
do this quickly. Here we go for your $250,000 question, Tony. All right. What is the oil filter number for the Toro Grandstand Multi-Force?
Well, that's going to be hard because it's a different engine than mine, but the most common filter for Kawasaki engines for many years was the 49065-7007, but they updated the part number to 49065-0721, and that was the new one that they had that went across most of their engines until recently. They even updated it again, so that can be a problem if you. Anyway, does that answer the question?
Correct. There we go. Like someone who wants to be a millionaire. We needed to do that again. We can get the whole LCBU involved and make it a big kind of viral thing. We could do like a cross stream, get everyone, because the questions in that episode, I got all the easy stuff. Then Greg was like hard. It was like all about stuff that no one knew about. Greg, right?
You know what was funny? I forgot to tell you this. The one that I had that was I forget what it was. The bizarre name of some organization that and the rating they had or something.
You should have got that one.
Shell got it right.
Did
My
she?
wife
Oh,
was
wow.
listening to this show.
Really?
And
Yeah.
Aunt Shell got it right. And I'm going, man, I can't believe that, because it was one I think I guessed at and just completely got it wrong. But she was listening to it. She listened more closely than I did, apparently. But she got it right. So good job, Aunt Shell.
Well, Greg didn't use this one. Well, wait, you did use the phone a friend. You called Raleigh, right?
Yeah, I called Raleigh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was on the 10 degree, 15 degree debate.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was a
Did you know what it was?
I guess 15. Is that what it was?
Yeah, it was 15. So
Yeah.
I thought because I
think you
went
thought it
with
was
10. Yeah, Raleigh thought it was 10, so I didn't want to make him feel bad and say no, I think it's really 15. And but
Well, it was, when y'all were starting to ask the question, I'm like, I think it's 15, but I'm like, but maybe they are trying to be really safe. Maybe it is 10. Like I was
Mhm.
kind of going back and forth with those on their mind. I wish I could tell. Like, I don't know how to tell just by like looking at like a
That was-
slope, like how much is
They
10.
have them on the
So-
motors though. Like if you
Yeah.
read the manuals, I actually read, like, I've tried to study my multi-force manual, and I feel like didn't we talk about this, Greg? How it's like it's
Yeah.
translated to English, back to the Chinese, and then back to English. Like it's like a triple translation and stuff. It's even some stuff that I'm reading, it's just wrong. Like, so real quick, it's like my Cub Cadet Pro X 660. I changed the hydros on it for the first time. This is like 2 years ago. Did it right. I don't know. A couple weeks later, it started like leaking oil everywhere, and apparently I like busted a seal in it. And they said that I filled it up the wrong way, and they marked the line differently. And so I marched into my dealer. I'm like, no, read the manual. You guys did it wrong. But they're like, no, it goes there. So I don't know if I trust manuals now.
Yeah. That's it's funny because I've seen that where people are having their college kids right now, they're having their papers done, and they do them on AI, but the professors are catching on to the AI stuff. So they'll do a paper in AI, they'll convert it to a different language, say, okay, great paper, convert it to Spanish, and they change it to Spanish, and then they ask them to convert it again back to English, and it changes it again. So now they're able to get their now they get just like Evan was saying, it was English converted Spanish, converted back to English, and now the paper is different, and they can't find that it was redone. Strange way, but that's the way people are cheating. What's this? 30 degrees on a Ventrac. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Do you think that we have enough time to grow the mullet? I don't know if it's long enough.
Man,
I don't know. I might be able to get a
Greg-
mullet. I can get a mullet.
Greg's probably the closest to it. I mean, me, that's October, 4 months. You know, I could get something. I would just have a big fro. Like, it would look really weird.
Or
You know
maybe
what?
just-
I'm gonna bring that Segway down to the expo with
Oh, yeah,
a
you
couple
should.
trimmers, and then we can try it out. No, I'm more comfortable holding a trimmer and running around with it than I was with no one on there today. And I felt so bad because I'm like, oh, wife and baby are home, and then just see if I can. Oh man, I might be able to play that video on here through the phone. Oh, this would be pretty funny. Oh,
You know, I just saw. Go ahead.
Go on.
Oh, I just said we were talking about growing hair. I just saw an ad the other day for Force Factor hair growth. So it's an accelerator. It's like
None
a
of that works.
soft chews and what are you trying to show there? Oh, is that
Oh,
you
there we
running
go.
into the car?
Got to put
Yeah,
up closer, so
Yeah,
you
right
just
here.
cover up your whole face and everything. Just like put it right
Uh,
up to there.
Yeah, mine froze when about the time
Oh,
you hit the
man.
vehicle, I guess.
Oh man, you can't really see it. I'll
No.
have to post it. But that, Aaron said I took a proper tumble, which is true. But that kind of hurt. And then my wife's like, "Did you fall?" And I'm like,
No.
no."
No, I was just getting
I
off.
didn't do that. Oh man.
It's just my exit strategy.
Yeah.
Well, Shane's popping off here. I think
Yeah,
it's time
we
to
should probably
let's-
wind it up.
Tony, I'm gonna come over there and tuck in. Okay.
Thank you, bud.
Yeah. No. Shoot. We got to have some outro music here. Oh man.
What's our
I don't
outro?
know.
I think it's only 118 or 119 days till Expo, so that's not
Oh, is
very
it?
far at all.
Here we go. We'll pump everyone up with the Expo outro music. All right. 119 days left to the Expo. Use promo code Tony or whoever you want to use. First know where that was supposed to thank you all. Shane. All right, guys.
No,
Thanks for coming on. Get to bed.
can't hear a word you're saying, Evan.
No. Bye.
Bring the sound down.